Howdy, partners. This is Sunset Carson, and I have a cowboy over here, one of the movie bad men that I've made quite a few westerns with, and the man that's been in the business many years. I know that you all know him, Mr. Lyden. Pierce, how you doing there, partner?
Fine. How are you? Jolly. It's been a little while, hasn't it?
It's been a little while, Pierce, since we rode them planes together, hasn't it?
Oh boy. Well, you're just as handsome as ever anyway. Maybe our hair is a little whiter. Mine's gone.
You can put down the shotgun down over there now since he's passed the compliment. Yeah, that Father Time kind of sneaks up on all of us. Let's see, we had a lot of fun on that. Was that the El Paso Kid?
Well, the one I remember is Alias Billy the Kid.
Alias Billy the Kid. That was one in the Kincaid's hole?
Yeah, that's where you hung one on me, and I wound up in the dirt as usual. I got beat up pretty well on that. Well, we did the Cherokee Flash together.
Yeah, that's right, the Cherokee Flash. Old Roy Barcroft.
Oh yes, yes.
He was really a swell guy.
He was. I worked with him a lot. He was a great heavy.
Yeah, he was a great heavy. He was loved by everybody, you know.
He did. He had friends all over the business.
All over the world.
He made a lot of pictures for, well, of course, he was under contract, you know.
He was under
public,
contract
along with the rest of you, and so whenever he wasn't available, I guess they called me out there.
Yeah, well, I know that a lot of times out there you'd be working on one of my pictures, and then you'd have to hurry up and jump over and do a Red Rider.
Yeah, go over to Allen Lane or down to Don Redberry.
Down to Don Redberry.
Monty Hale.
Monty.
I didn't miss many of them out there, I don't
know.
think.
Let's see, guys, about that time we had, let's see, Bob Livingston was still there, wasn't he?
Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers, yeah.
And of course, as I said, Monty Hale and Wild Bill Elliott.
Wild
was there,
Bill,
of course. And,
Alan Rocky Lane.
Yes, and Monty Hale.
Monty,
well,
yes, old Monty was there. Yeah, Monty was great. We had him on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of fun with him. Monty's a great guy.
Oh, they had a great stable out there with Leroy Mason, you know.
Yeah,
and,
Leroy.
Kenny Duncan and that whole bunch out there. And
Bud Gary.
Bud Gary. Yeah. John Cason and Bob Cason, you remember?
Yeah, Cason, yeah.
We used to come in once in a while, and all the rest of you were busy and so on. Yeah, that was great making westerns at Republic.
Yeah, we'd get up in the morning we'd had a 5 o'clock call, didn't we, when we went to Iverson's?
Most of them were 5 o'clock, that's right. Yeah, we got out there about the time the sun's coming up, and we didn't leave. We followed around the mountains until it went down, and then we headed for town.
Then we used car lights to shoot the rest of the scenes to get through with it. I remember when John Hart was telling me one time, and of course he liked going out there because he got down there at 5 o'clock, and he'd get on the bus and he'd go to sleep. And he'd sleep till he got to location. So one day they wasn't going to use him until noon, and he was going to drive his car out. So he come to the showdown, he said he got in his car and started to go, and he didn't know how to get there. He had to find out. Oh, gosh.
Well, most of us knew where Iverson's was. They shot a million pictures out there. And, of course, Crash Corrigan, Corriganville, and then the old Monogram Ranch, where we did a lot of back lot, and down on the creek at Republic. When I started, I did a lot of work down there on that riverbed at Republic, even.
Yeah, you know what's so many of the fans? They always ask them a lot of questions. You worked with old Charlie King quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew Blackie. I sure did. Yes.
Do you know any good stories to tell on him? I know that the people out there would just love to hear him, because Charlie was one of their favorites.
Oh, yeah.
And one of mine too, I tell you.
Yeah, Charlie had a lot of friends, and of course he started way back, and I don't know that I know any particular stories about him. He was always a lot of fun, good to work with, you know. He was a good little tippler too, you know.
Yeah.
He liked his nip, you know. So.
I'll never forget that. I loaned him a pair of cowboy boots one time, those tall ones with their straight top, you know. And He had a couple when I loaned them to him. I guess he figured that I'd given him to him or something because I never did get them back.
I'll bet you did.
And that's when I was just first starting out there, and man, cowboy boots is hard to come by.
Oh yes, yes. Sometimes they were. That's true when you were starting. That's right.
You worked over Monogram too, didn't you? PRC quite a bit.
Yes, I worked. I was down on Poverty Row most of my life.
Gower Gulch.
From Gower Gulch on east, you know, down to the Columbia Annex, and well, I was with Columbia Cereals, the Sam Katzman unit, for 14.5 years. And, I worked with Jock Mahoney over there on the Cereals. And, a lot of pretty good old boys over there. Russ Hayden.
Yeah, old Russ.
Charlie Sterrett.
Was you there when they had the shootout on Gower Gulch there?
With Blackjack Ward?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Suppose you tell the people about it, you know. Would you just go ahead and tell them? Well, all the people hung out there anyway at the drugstore.
Well, all the cowboys, of course, Gower Gulch was a second home for most of us in the early days. You get down there and the studios used to come around and cast their pictures down there, you know. They say, you, pick out the boys that they wanted, and if you had your own hat and boots, and why, you had a pretty good chance of getting a job, and if you had a gun belt, you were a cinch.
You were a cinch to get it.
And a 45, and Blackjack, of course, had a 45. And, oh, I don't know, he got in some kind of an argument with this fellow, you know, and I remember he chased him down across the vacant lot then in Hollywood, and clear down past Santa Monica and Vine Street, and finally 45 got him, that's for sure, you know. But all those things, Gower Gulch was wild, no doubt about that, but they were good old boys. They didn't have too much trouble. Not as much trouble as they have now in Hollywood.
No, that's for sure. It ran pretty smooth back in those days, even with all of the things to hold us back. Things worked great. We were all just one happy bunch. We had friends every place we went, and if we didn't have something, we needed something, there's always some old boy standing around here, you know, to help you out on it. It was a wonderful. I wouldn't take anything for it. My life through it, and through those days, I'm glad that I lived through them.
Well, so am I. I never reached your status in the business, of course, but I was happy with what I did, and I was happy with the business, and I wouldn't fault it for 1 minute. Actually, it was real good to me. I spent almost 30 years in Hollywood and in the business, and I always was able to make a living, and it was hard work. It wasn't all the glamour, as you know, that it's cracked up to be, or maybe some of the public thinks it is. At 5 o'clock in the morning and working until the sun goes down, and going up and down those hills and then around those rocks, and falling off of horses and stagecoach on your head, you know, why it gets a little tiresome after a while. That's hard work. But it was fun in those days, and we all had a good time.
Yeah, well, you were pretty much up in the top field in your line, Ferris. You were right in the top heavies in there, the top outlaws and stuff. I mean, you worked right along side by side. You did a lot of the lead heavies too.
Well, along with Marshall Reed and old Lane Bradford and Johnny Merton and some of us, you know, that did our own stunts. I never pretended to be a professional stuntman, but I did do all my own work, and it got me a lot of jobs. They didn't have to double me, and that saved a lot of money, especially on Poverty Row, where they didn't have to hire somebody else.
You did your own rides, your own fights.
Yes, yeah, and I could drive.
And loaded your own guns.
Yeah, even loaded my own gun. The prop man didn't have to do that for me, that's for sure. Yeah.
Those were really the great days back then, when all the cowboys were going good. There was no problems. We don't like they are today on everything. We bothered a little bit by unions and everything, but not too much.
No.
We got through everything that we started.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Pierce, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, partner, for coming down and being a guest on our show. And we get it